Hello and a warm welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be talking about tree ferns. In particular, I have bought 3 tree ferns from Seagrave Nursery. These were part of the late May delivery. If you go onto their website, you will see when you purchase these particular tree ferns, it will tell you when they're roughly expected to be delivered. And so these came in technically at the beginning of June, but were supposed to be at the end of May. So I've had them for about just under 2 weeks, and I will show you a little video clip of when they arrived. So this is how the tree ferns from Seagrave Nurseries have been delivered. So all looks nice and secure. So it's obviously wrapped in the plastic wrap, and you can see the new fronds in there as well. So we'll get these unwrapped and place in some water to start with, just to rehydrate them a little bit. So as you saw in the video, they arrived on the pallet in a very secure way. They weren't damaged or anything, and I did actually do what I said I was going to do, and I basically filled up 3 trugs with water, and I put the root end of the tree fern into that and allowed that to soak for about 24 hours. I also gave it a bit of a spray with a hose pipe just to basically rehydrate the plant, because obviously it had been, what they do is they chainsaw these off at ground level and they trim all the fronds off in their kind of home country, which is sort of Australia, Tasmania kind of area, and they ship these around the world, and they arrive basically on like in a container or something, and they're just basically a log, and obviously they can dry out over their journey. So by rehydrating it, you're basically kickstarting the plant into growth. So once I'd soaked these for the 24 hours, I then basically worked out the depth of how deep I was going to put them into the pots. So I've sunk them in at about, I think it's 3 to 4 inches into the soil. If you go too deep with them, it's not too much of a problem, because obviously they will root and they'll be more secure and everything like that, but you're losing the height of the actual plant. And tree ferns you basically buy by the foot in height, so obviously if you're burying a load of it, you're going to lose that extra height that you've paid for, and these are quite an expensive plant to buy nowadays. So yeah, I basically put them in the soil about 4 inches deep and put them into a fairly large pot to start with. Now, my aim for these is to basically allow them this year to fully root into that pot, so they're nice and secure. And obviously they're going to put out some fronds this year as well and put a bit of growth on and everything. So they are roughly in the location which I eventually want to place them, but not exactly where they're going to be. I still need to fiddle around with some of the planting in this area, move a few plants around, and yeah, make sure basically when they open their fronds, I want to make sure that they look in proportion with each other. So I went for 3 different heights. So I went for a 2 foot, a 3 foot, and a 4 foot, which I would say offered the best value for money. Once you go above 4 foot, there's another jump in price. They get quite expensive, and then a 6 foot's even more expensive. So when I ordered these, the price on the website, the 2 foot was £80, the 3 foot was £120, and the 4 foot was £160 on there. The prices of these have gone up since, and these are for, I think, sometime, I think late June delivery on there. So I just wanted to give you an idea really of, you know, how these were delivered and the quality of them, just so that if you're looking to purchase these from Seagraves, which I would say is a very, very good supplier. I've had very good hardy palms from them before. My Trachycarpus palms I had from there were absolutely fantastic, and They've been in the ground just under 2 years and they're absolutely flying. So really, really good quality plants at really decent prices, especially compared to if you buy these at a garden centre when they're like fully rooted. So although you're getting something that's kind of probably been in the pot for probably a year, filling that pot out, you pay quite a lot of money for it. So these were the three that I purchased. I've got a tape measure with me now, so I'll show you the height of what they're at once they're in the soil. They're nice and secure in the soil. They're not too wobbly. I haven't staked these or anything at the moment. They're literally on their own weight. So the 4-foot one is coming in at I'm going to do this in centimeters now so you can see. So it's 117 centimeters above ground on that one. The 2-foot log comes in at 57 centimeters in the ground, and the 3-foot comes in at what was it, 85 centimeters in the ground. So that's basically the sizing on there. So let's take a closer look. I'll take the camera off the stand now and just show you some of the detail and the actual fronds that are starting to emerge on there. Okay, so this is on the 2-foot log, and you can see here, I'm not going to touch them too much because I don't want them to break off. They're quite delicate at this stage, but you can see all the fronds all starting to uncurl on the top of there, and this just shows you what the root's like. This is all basically root material on the side here, so this all absorbs water and starts to basically feed the tree fern. So on the 3-foot one, originally it had quite a kind of dent in the middle of it, and I was a little concerned that there may be a problem with it, but actually this dent is now starting to rise up as the hairy fronds are starting to rise from the plant there. So that's the 3-foot one. And the 4-foot one, this one over here. So this you can see in the top here. So we've got, probably if I go around a bit more, you might see it better. So in the crown here, you can see this bit here. I'll zoom in a bit better. So these are the fronds starting to emerge. So they're kind of like, if you imagine my finger like that, they sort of come out like this and they start to emerge on there. So yeah, all are looking pretty healthy. The other thing that might be quite useful for me to show you is the width of these things, because you can get some really big tree ferns width wise, and so let's have a look. I'd say that one's at least hard to see on the video actually, but I would say it's nearly a foot wide across the top there. Just do it like this, might be an easier way of doing it. So this one's 27, roughly 27 centimeters across at the top, and this one, wow, 33 if you include this little bit on the side, which I think is another area where some fronds are going to emerge from here. So it might end up being like a double trunker in time, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, that one's a good kind of 33 including the bit on the side, or if you exclude it, it's about 27 centimeters on there. So as I said, they're all a very good price for what they are. I would say even at the more expensive rate that they are now, they are still cheaper than a lot of places, and I highly recommend them. So yeah, good company. I must say that I was quite late to the party when it comes to tree ferns. I had kind of planned out the rest of my garden to be quite palm heavy, because generally I love palm trees, they're one of my favourites. And so yeah, a lot of the garden is designed with those. And tree ferns, I must admit, I thought, although I was sort of intrigued by them, I was very much like, they're very, very expensive what they are. They need a little bit of extra care, in a sense that they need a good watering, sort of almost like every day, a good spray of water, especially if the weather's dry. These particular ones sited here, they do get some sun, but they also, in the afternoon, like now, it is now 4:30 in the afternoon, and they're in almost in the fully shade here. So yeah, so they're not, you don't really want to put them in the sun all day, because generally they dry out really, really quickly. And unless you're home all day and can water them, then it can be a bit of a struggle to try and keep up with the maintenance. So thinking about this area for the future, I'm thinking about raising up this area around here, so this area and around here, and make a kind of sort of raised bed area. But obviously I don't want it to be a well drained area, because these are going to dry out. The reason for raising them up like this is because obviously I don't want to lose too much height on them, because they're not huge, you know, they're not 5-6 foot ones. So yeah, I want to be able to sort of put them in the ground long term, but I also want the height on them. So we'll probably end up moving this plant here, because this particular area that we're looking at in my garden, it is actually an area where I've got quite a few ferns and stuff, because it is the shadier area. So you can see through here I've got loads of different types of ferns. So I wanted to continue that theme through here, so then it will go up to the tree ferns in this area here, and then there's obviously a massive Musabaju banana there on the side. And the good thing is in the winter time, I want to be able to see the chickens from my house. And a lot of this area, there is a few evergreens in here, but generally a lot of it does actually die back to the ground with the frosts and everything. So I think it'd be quite interesting having, obviously the tree ferns here will look quite sculptural, but you'll still be able to see through and see the chickens. So that's the plan with this. So yeah, basically the struggle with this is that I've got to try and create the environment for these tree ferns where they're going to thrive, and that was obviously providing shade and water, and I think I'm going to be able to do this. I have got irrigation pipes that run through this area as well, so they will get a regular water. And just over this area here behind me, I do have a sprinkler, pop-up sprinkler, which is in the lawn down here, and that actually, it fires around here like this. So in theory, it will get a spray from that sprinkler every time I have the irrigation on, so that will help me water this area. So yeah, I want it to kind of be a bit like a sort of fernery. You see I've got some interesting sort of sculptural bits of log laying around, which I think I will probably use at the front of this border just to raise it up a little bit. I think I'm going to need to add more depth to this border. So I think what I'm going to have to probably do is swing this cobbled edge more around this way, like this, to basically create a bit more depth. So say it comes out to about here. The extra depth will really, really help put everything kind of into proportion. And there's like a pear tree, and there's other kind of trees around this area as well. So they will provide a little bit of shade for these tree ferns. So yeah, I will do another video in the future once these have all flushed up with their new foliage. I will do a video update on how they're getting on. But yeah, I just wanted to document really, you know, what the value for money that you get with these from Seagraves. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and please click the like button. And if you'd like to see more content from me, I do lots of videos on different aspects of tropical style gardening, and I've got some interesting ones coming up where I visit the big plant nursery and some other garden centres, and probably back to B&M to see what they've got available. So if you're interested in anything really to do with tropical style gardening in the UK, then please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I hope you enjoy these, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.